So thank you for coming. My name's Madan, and I'm talking about the Summer of Love, 40 years since 1967, original Summer of Love, what's happened since, and the Circles of Perpetual Choirs, which is a fairly recent discovery in one sense. How many of you are familiar with these circles? This is southern half of England, two massive great circles. Ancient choirs used to sing around these points, around these circles. Put your hand up if you're familiar with these, any of you. Oh, okay, so I'll explain what they are. This circle on the left, back in the time before the Romans came, they kind of changed our culture, sort of Druid Celtic time. Around this circle, it's 125 miles wide, it's centred on the Malvern Hills. You have 10 points: Stonehenge, Glastonbury, Llantwit Major in South Wales, Llandovery, Carno, Ellesmere, Uttoxeter, Croft Hill up in Leicester, Stony Stratford, Goring on Thames. Now all these places, they used to maintain a choir, 100 people in 1 hour shifts, singing around the clock, and this was known as the Circle of Perpetual Choirs. And the effect of that sacred singing would be literally to enchant the landscape, to keep everything in harmony, divine order. They would have been adjusting their chanting according to astrology, seasons, time of day, and something like Gregorian chant. If you can imagine 100 people, and 100 people singing together is powerful. Now today I want this to be also a workshop where we all sing together, so you can feel. We can talk about singing, but then we can sing, which is the real potency. So my whole talk basically is centred around this whole thing. Everything we're going to talk about is kind of, it unfolds from here. I'm talking about in 1967, very significantly, the Krishna consciousness kicked off. Swami Prabhupada came from India, and he brought our mother culture back to us. This isn't something that was this isn't some Hindu religion, this isn't Indian culture, this is Vedic culture, which was a worldwide culture which had been lost to us. Comparative studies have been done, and we've seen that the Druids and the Vedic Brahmins of India, one and the same. Same culture, same language, same rituals, practically. So they were like a European version, somewhat different, but essentially coming from the same place. So we've now moved into a time where it's becoming more apparent that more and more evidence of a worldwide culture links through language. One language, this is referred to in the Bible as the Tower of Babel. Before that time everyone spoke the same language, and then it all broke down. That's kind of an analogy for what would be in Vedic terms called the beginning of the Kali Yuga, when, because of degradation of everything over time causes everything to degrade. Civilization broke down 3000 BC. Civilization didn't begin with literacy. Literacy marked the end of civilization because people lost the ability to remember. The ancient tradition is an oral tradition. People didn't used to write things down because knowledge could get into the wrong hands, so people would speak their stories and all the knowledge would be passed down, word of mouth, teacher to pupil. But we've lost that ability in this Kali Yuga. We're not as intelligent as our ancestors, basically. As much as that hurts our pride or whatever, technological advancement isn't a symptom of high civilization. It's a symptom that we've lost touch with who we are. But it has its advantages. Anyway, I'm going to go. How much time do you think I've got?
Only till 11, mate.
Okay, right. Well, I'm going to flip at high speed then through here. This symbol, which I'm using in the Summer of Love, the Vaishnavas wear this symbol. It represents male and female Godhead and their union. When we chant Hare Krishna, Hare is the goddess, and Krishna, God. The Vedic conception is that all of reality exists within this love affair between God and Goddess, and we're just sparks of the female energy. So very powerful when this symbol is worn on the body, and you'll notice it's also like a tuning fork. Like our spiritual path, basically, in essence, is attuning ourselves to the higher reality through the process of sacred sound. And I've done this kind of stylized drawing just to show the idea of divine union taking place within our hearts through sacred chanting. Very quick one, this is a satellite, NASA satellite bridge between India and Sri Lanka. The only place where that's referred to in history is in the room. Ancient story describes when Krishna incarnated as King Ram and his followers built the bridge between India and Sri Lanka, and all of a sudden it's gone from myth and legend to being photographed by NASA. They've investigated it, they found out Lord Ram was here 1.7 million years ago. They've dated the bridge 1.7 million years and confirmed that it's man-made. So we have evidence now that these weren't just stories. Okay, this is a stylised picture of John Michel's Temple of Revelation. Practically speaking, every sacred place temple is built around some variation on this design. The squared circle, the square represents measurable matter, the circle represents immeasurable spirit. This inner circle here, when a square is drawn around the inner circle, the purple circle that would be here, the perimeter of that square equals the circumference. So you have, the squared circle means the place where matter meets spirit. So this is essentially what any stone circle, any temple, any sacred place is built around this principle, a reconcile. And this is the Great Pyramid. These are Earth-Moon proportions, by the way. The inner circle is the Earth's diameter. These little circles around the edge, this is the Moon diameter, and their relative proportions actually reveal squared circle proportions, which above everything else reveals the design behind the universe. The Great Pyramid in Egypt, it derives its exact 51 degree, 51 minute, 14 second slope from Earth-Moon proportions. This is in the middle of the purple bit is the classic Gothic cathedral floor plan based on 10-pointed star geometry. This is all about the different sounds related to the chakras. I'll go through these quickly as time's short. I'll ask you to repeat from the root chakra, ooh, ooh. Sacral chakra, oh, oh. Solar plexus chakra, oh, oh. Heart chakra, and everyone's familiar with this in the Hare Krishna mantra. This sound appears 20 times out of 32 syllables. This is the heart chakra. Ah. Ah. Throat chakra. Hey. Hey. Third eye chakra. E. And the crown chakra. Oh. Oh. And there are particular colours related to the chakra. Essentially, this is described in all the mystic traditions. Essentially, by raising our energies up to our crown, this is the point of enlightenment, when we can raise the energies within our bodies up to the crown. And literally, this is like the halo. The petals of the lotuses that describe the chakras add up to 144 up to our third eye. Multiplied by the 1,000 petal crown chakra, you have 144,000, which is a numerical description of light, the halo. Think 144,000 is a number of the speed of light also. It travels at 144,000 minutes of arc per second when it travels around the planet. Goes around the planet 6.66 times. Those are familiar numbers from the Bible. 666 and 144,000. These are to do with light and enlightenment. The whole book of Revelation is about earth meeting heaven, heaven descending to earth. The Temple of the New Jerusalem, described here in diagrammatic form. It's happening now, we're experiencing that now. Earth and the spiritual world are joining. David Ash yesterday described that the Earth is actually ascending. 2012 means we're